Hey, what's up guys? Alex here with a new video, and today we're doing a head-to-head comparison between Canon's old 51.2 EF lens versus Canon's new 51.2 RF lens. Let's go ahead and get into it. Before I even made this video, I knew the new 50 was significantly sharper. I didn't know exactly if it was going to perform much better in the focusing or the accuracy of focusing with the Canon EOS R. One is using an adapter and another lens is native. So I went ahead and strapped on the Atomos Ninja 5 onto the EOS R, and I asked one of my friends if she wanted some photos, and we went to a parking garage to use both lenses. I recorded kind of the viewfinder of the camera so you can see how it performs as far as autofocus goes, and also kind of what the user experience is like. Now, I can tell you right now, before even reviewing the footage in real world use, the autofocusing performance wasn't anything different that I noticed. Using the old 50 with an adapter or using the new one, I really couldn't tell a difference in focusing accuracy or acquisition. Overall, they were both just a pleasure to use. Looking at the photos though, the sharpness is just mind-blowing. I'm gonna go ahead and play some of that video of kind of what it looked like in the viewfinder, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share and kind of show you a comparison between the new Canon 50 and the old Canon 51.2, so you can see kind of the difference in sharpness and what we're looking at. Okay guys, so I lined up 6 images here, both shot with each lens, and let's go ahead and take a look and compare them. So I tried getting as close as possible as far as composition goes, and matching the framing, but keep in mind, this was more of a fun shoot, and we weren't trying to kind of match it perfectly and have a super scientific test, right? So this is a real world example. I use these lenses for weddings. I'm not necessarily shooting models. Again, these are lenses you're going to be using out in the field, right? So shooting charts doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever. So here, guys, the first image we shot here with a Canon 50 RF. As you can see, image looks great. Love the bokeh, love the colors. This has been color corrected with my preset, and overall, really like the image. If I zoom in, you're going to see it is tack sharp. Now, if we go ahead and go to this next image, try to get similar composition, similar framing. This one might be a little bit underexposed, but again, just looking at the image, it looks great. Actually looks pretty good. Love the colors, love the bokeh, love the rendering. It's not until you zoom in at a 3:1 kind of level here that you're able to see that this image is not as sharp. It is a little softer, and it does experience kind of some chromatic aberration. So you have to get to the kind of like the pixel level to see the difference. And if we compare them both, let's go ahead and do that. We'll be able to get a better example here. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Let's zoom in. And you're able to see how much more sharper the new 50mm lens is. So let's go ahead and let's get out of that view. Let's go ahead and go to the next image here. Again, this one was shot with a new lens, 1.4. All these images are shot at 1.4 just because the old 50 at 1.2 really isn't usable. I think it's too soft, and the chromatic aberrations are just off the charts. So I wanted to maybe make it a little bit more fair. But again, looking at this image, same thing. Love the colors, love the rendering. Zooming in, tack sharp. Now try to get similar composition here with the EF lens. And same thing, guys, if you look at the image, it looks great. I love the bokeh, I love the rendering. It's not until you zoom in that you're able to see that the image is a little bit softer. And think in this case, it's actually a little bit more flattering, because if you compare them both, you're able to see that with the new 50, since it's so much sharper, you have a lot more detail under the eyes, under the skin. And I think if you're doing portraiture photography and you're going to go into Photoshop and edit, this is helpful because you have a lot more detail. But if you're shooting weddings and kind of just delivering tons of images, it sometimes having this little bit of a softer look, it helps, right? It's a little bit more flattering. For me, I still always prefer the sharper images, but just wanted to point that out. But zooming out, guys, and comparing the images next to each other, I think they both look great, and any client would not be able to really tell the difference looking at both. Now, for the last image here, I actually got closest to matching composition. So on the left-hand side, you can see here we have the EF version, and on the right side, we have the RF version. Now, both settings are practically the same. Let's take a look. Again, I want to make sure I point this out. Just looking at the image, I think they both look great. But when you zoom in, you're able to see kind of the added sharpness of the new 50. So let's go ahead and maybe go to 1-to-1 zoom on both. And I still think they both look great. Even though this one's a little bit softer, I still think they both look great. So guys, that wraps it up. Hopefully you enjoyed this comparison. In my opinion, the new Canon 51.2 RF is absolutely worth it. I think it's leaps and bounds superior optically than the old 50. It's just sharper. It has less chromatic aberrations. It's just a pleasure to use. And the fact that you can get sharp results at 1.2 is mind-blowing. I'm in love with it. I said it before in my review, and I'll say it again. It is a reason enough to buy the EOS R. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, guys. Both lenses are great. Obviously, both render differently. Both have different sharpness levels, and you guys can decide what makes more sense for you. But stay tuned, guys. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this, more coverage on the EOS R, and my next video will be on Canon's new 35 1.8 macro lens that they just released as well. So, as always, please like this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Peace.